This is audiobook number 01, by Home Team Records Mindset Blueprint. The Mindset Blueprint, How Successful People Really Think. Let's talk about something most people never truly understand, not success, but the thinking behind success. Because if you look closely, successful people don't just act differently, they think differently. And that difference is where everything begins. Most people spend their lives trying to change their results, without ever changing their thinking. They work harder, they try more, they push themselves, but they stay in the same place. Not because they lack effort, but because they are operating with the same mental patterns. First section, the hidden problem. Think about this for a moment. If your current way of thinking created your current life, then repeating that same thinking will only recreate the same results. It's simple, but powerful. And most people ignore it. We are taught from a young age to follow systems, go to school, work hard, stay safe. However, we are rarely taught how to think independently, how to question, how to analyze, how to step back and say, is this actually the best path, or just the most common one? Next section, shift begins. The mindset blueprint starts with awareness. Awareness of your thoughts, your habits, your reactions. Because once you become aware, you create space to change. And this is where successful people separate themselves. They don't react automatically. They observe, they think, and then they act with intention. Next section, responsibility principle. There is one principle that sits at the foundation of everything, responsibility. Not blame, not guilt, but responsibility. The moment you take full ownership of your life, you stop waiting, and you start building. Let's move next. Chapter 2, Expansion and Depth. This is section 4, Thinking versus Reacting. Most people move through life on autopilot. Something happens, and they react. A problem shows up, and they feel overwhelmed. An opportunity appears, and they hesitate. Not because they aren't capable, but because they are not trained to think before they act. Successful people operate differently. They slow the moment down. They don't rush into emotion. They ask themselves simple, but powerful questions. What is really happening here? What is the opportunity inside this situation? What is the smartest move, not the fastest one? Next section, the long-term perspective. One of the biggest differences in thinking is time. Most people think short-term. Immediate comfort, immediate results, immediate rewards. But short-term thinking creates long-term limitations. Slight emphasis, successful people think differently. They think in years, not days. They are willing to sacrifice today to build something that lasts tomorrow. They understand that real success is not built in moments of excitement, but in long periods of consistency. Next section, work versus leverage. Another shift happens when you stop asking, how can I work more, and start asking, how can I work smarter? Most people are taught that effort equals success. But effort alone is not enough. Because time is limited. Energy is limited. And if you only rely on effort, you will always be trading time for results. Successful individuals think in terms of leverage. They ask, how can I create something that continues to bring value over time? This is where ideas like income streams, systems, and digital assets begin to appear. Section 7, Emotional Control. Thinking differently also means learning how to manage your emotions. Because emotions, when left unchecked, can distort your decisions. Fear can stop you, impatience can rush you, doubt can weaken you. But successful people don't eliminate emotions, they learn to control them. They feel fear, but they act anyway. They feel uncertainty, but they keep moving forward. Next section. Identity shift. At some point, everything becomes identity. Not what you do, but who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you will find ways to confirm that belief. If you see yourself as someone who builds, you will begin to act accordingly. This is the real shift. When you stop saying, I'm trying to succeed, and start saying, I am building something meaningful. Your actions change. Your decisions change. Your standards change. Now let's move to the third, and the last part of this audiobook, which is also section 9, discipline over motivation. At some point in the journey, motivation fades. It always does. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel ready. And there will be days when doing nothing feels easier than doing the work. This is where most people stop. Slight emphasis, but successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. Discipline is not about intensity. It's not about pushing yourself to the limit every day. It's about consistency. Doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Because small actions, repeated daily, create outcomes that most people think are impossible. Section 10, The Power of Daily Standards. Your life is not shaped by big moments. It's shaped by daily standards. What time do you wake up? How you use your time. What you focus on. What you ignore. These small decisions, repeated over time, build your future quietly. Successful people protect their standards. They don't negotiate with distractions. They don't compromise with excuses. They understand something simple: if you lower your standards, your results will follow. Section 11, Execution versus Overthinking. Another trap that holds people back is overthinking. Waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect conditions. But perfection is an illusion. Successful people take action before everything is clear. They adjust as they move. They learn by doing. They improve through experience because action creates clarity. Not the other way around. We move to section 12, the reality of the journey. There will be times when progress feels slow. Times when it feels like nothing is changing. Times when doubt becomes louder than confidence. This is part of the process. Growth is not always visible. Progress is not always immediate. But every disciplined day, every focused decision, is building something beneath the surface. The truth is, most people won't stay consistent long enough to see real results. They will stop too early. They will doubt too soon. They will return to what feels comfortable. But if you stay, if you keep building, if you keep showing up, even when it's quiet, even when it's difficult, you separate yourself. Not overnight, but over time. And one day, what once felt impossible becomes your reality. Change your thinking, build your discipline, and commit to the long game, because the life you want is built by the person you choose to become. And remember, you're one step away from becoming financially free. Thank you, and we are looking forward to seeing you next time. RAFMOFX, by Home Team Records.
This is audiobook number 2 by Home Team Records. Mindset Blueprint. Stop working hard, start thinking smart. What they don't tell you. To mention that, Section 11, Discipline Creates Structure, Part 3, Discipline Right Arrow Identity Right Arrow Freedom Final Build and Closing, is a continuation from the audiobook number 2. Let's begin. At some point, everything comes back to discipline. Not the kind of discipline that pushes you to extremes, but the kind that keeps you consistent, showing up, even when you don't feel like it, staying focused, even when distractions are everywhere, doing what matters, even when it's not exciting, because smart thinking without discipline leads nowhere, and discipline without direction leads to exhaustion. But when you combine both, you create progress. Section 12, From Effort to Control. Discipline gives you something most people never fully develop: control. Control over your time. Control over your focus. Control over your decisions. And when you gain control, you stop reacting to life and start directing it. This is where things begin to change. Section 13, Identity Shift. Over time, the process changes you. You're no longer someone trying to work harder. You become someone who thinks smarter. Someone who builds, someone who plans, someone who executes with intention. And this shift is not visible immediately, but it's happening every single day. Section 14, the long game. Smart thinking is long-term thinking. It's understanding that results take time. That progress is built quietly, through repeated actions. While others look for shortcuts, you build foundations. While others chase quick wins, you create lasting value. And over time, that difference becomes visible. Final build, from discipline to freedom. In the beginning, discipline feels heavy. It feels like an effort. It feels like a sacrifice. It feels like you're giving more than you're receiving. But something changes as you stay consistent, as you keep building, as you keep thinking smarter. Discipline becomes lighter. Decisions become clearer. And slowly your life begins to open. Freedom section, strong emotional payoff. You gain time. You gain clarity. You gain the ability to choose your direction instead of being controlled by it. That's the difference. Not just working hard, but building smart. Not just surviving, but creating. Final closing, remember to stop chasing effort and start building with intention. Think smarter, act with discipline, and commit to the long game. Because real freedom is not found in working more, it's built by thinking better. And once again, remember, you're one step away from becoming financially free. Thank you, and we are looking forward to seeing you next time. RAF Mo FX by Home Team Records.
This is audiobook number 03, by Home Team Records Mindset Blueprint. How to build multiple income streams without burning out. Part 1, Foundation and Reality Check. The idea of multiple income streams sounds powerful. More income, more freedom, more control over your life. And in many ways, it is the right direction. But there's a side of this that people don't talk about enough. The pressure. The confusion. The feeling of trying to do everything, all at once. And that's where burnout begins. Section 1, the wrong approach. Most people approach this the wrong way. They try to build multiple income streams at the same time. One idea today, another tomorrow, another next week. And instead of building something solid, they spread themselves thin. No focus. No depth. No real progress. Just constant movement, without direction. Section 2, the truth about multiple income. The truth is simple, multiple income streams are not built at once. They are built one at a time. Slowly. Intentionally. With focus. You don't juggle everything at the beginning. You build one foundation, and then you expand. Section 3, focus before expansion. Smart builders understand this. They focus on one thing until it becomes stable. Until it produces results. Until it no longer requires all of their energy. Only then do they move to the next. That's how real structure is created. Section 4, energy management, because at the end of the day, your most valuable resource is not money. It's energy. Your ability to think clearly. Your ability to stay focused. Your ability to keep going. And when your energy is scattered, everything becomes harder. Decisions become unclear. Progress slows down. Frustration increases. How to build multiple income streams without burning out. Part 2, practical structure, systems and smart expansion. Section 5, what an income stream really is. Before building multiple income streams, you need to understand what one actually is. An income stream is not just making money once. It's something that produces value and continues to generate income over time. It could be a skill, a service, a product, or even content. But the key idea is simple: you build it once, and it continues to work, even when you're not constantly updating it. Section 6, Active versus Scalable Work. In the beginning, most income is active. You work, and you get paid. Simple. But smart thinking introduces a second layer. Scalable work. Something that can grow, without requiring equal effort every time. For example, creating content that reaches people over time. Building something once that continues to deliver value. This is where your time starts working for you. Section 7, the first stream matters most. Your first income stream is the most important one. Because it teaches you everything: how to think, how to solve problems, how to stay consistent, and most importantly, it gives you stability. Without that, everything else becomes pressure. That's where burnout starts. Section 8, building step by step. Once your first stream becomes stable, you don't rush into 10 more things. You expand carefully. One step at a time. You ask, what is the next logical move? Something that connects, something that builds on what you already have. Not something completely random, but something aligned. Section 9, avoiding overload. Burnout doesn't come from ambition. It comes from overload. Too many ideas. Too many directions. Too many unfinished projects. The solution is not to stop building, it's to simplify. Fewer things, done better. More focus, less distraction. Section 10, systems create breathing room. The moment you introduce systems, everything changes. You stop repeating the same work every single day. You organize your process. You create structure. And slowly, your work becomes lighter. Not because you're doing less, but because you're doing it smarter. How to build multiple income streams without burning out. Part 3, Discipline, Peace and Freedom. Final build and closing. Section 11, Patience over pressure. At some point, you have to slow down. Not your ambition, but your pace. Because building something meaningful takes time, and when you rush the process, you create pressure. Pressure to succeed quickly. Pressure to do more. Pressure to keep up with everyone else. But smart builders think differently. They replace pressure with patience. They understand that real growth is not rushed. Section 12, Discipline protects your energy. Discipline is not just about working. It's about protecting your energy. Knowing when to focus. Knowing when to stop. Knowing what matters, and what doesn't. Because if you don't protect your energy, you will eventually lose direction. And when direction is lost, burnout follows. Section 13, Simplicity wins. The more you grow, the more you realize something simple. You don't need to do everything. You don't need 10 income streams. You need a few that work well. A few that are aligned. A few that you can manage without losing yourself. Simplicity creates clarity. And clarity creates peace. Section 14, The feeling of control. When you build the right way, something changes inside you. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You stop chasing everything. And you begin to feel in control. You know what you're building. You know why you're doing it. And you know where you're going. That feeling is powerful. Final build, from peace to freedom. At first, you build for income. Then, you build for stability. But over time, something deeper appears. You begin to build for peace. Peace of mind. Peace in your decisions. Peace in your direction. And from that place, freedom starts to grow. Freedom section, emotional payoff, not rushed freedom, not forced success, but real freedom. The ability to choose how you spend your time. The ability to work with intention. The ability to move, without pressure controlling you. That's the difference. Not building everything at once, but building the right things, the right way. As we approach the closing of this audiobook, we encourage you to stay strong and grounded, focus on one path, build it with discipline, expand with clarity, and protect your energy along the way. Because true success is not just about making more. It's about living better. with peace in your mind and freedom in your life. And once again, remember, you're one step away from becoming financially free. Thank you, and we are looking forward to seeing you next time. RAFMOFX, by Home Team Records.
This is audiobook number 04, by Home Team Records Mindset Blueprint. Discipline is power, the habit system that changes your life. Discipline is one of the most misunderstood concepts. Some people see it as a restriction. Others see it as pressure. But in reality, discipline is power. Not loud power, not aggressive power, but quiet, controlled power. The kind of power that shapes your life, one decision at a time. Section 1, The Truth About Discipline. Most people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready, to feel inspired, to feel certain. But motivation comes and goes. It's unstable. It's unpredictable. And if your life depends on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what needs to be done. Section 2, Small Habits, Big Results. Your life is not built in big moments. It's built in small actions, repeated daily. What do you do in the morning? How you use your time. What you choose to focus on. These small habits shape your future quietly. Day by day, decision by decision. And over time, they become your results. Section 3, The Habit System. Discipline becomes easier when you build systems. Not random effort, but structured behavior. A habit system is simple. You decide in advance what you will do, and you repeat it consistently. No overthinking. No negotiation. Just execution. Section 4, Removing Friction. One of the smartest ways to build discipline is to remove friction. Make good habits easier. Make bad habits harder. Simple adjustments create powerful changes. Because the easier something is, the more likely you are to do it consistently. Section 5, Identity and Habits. At some point, discipline becomes identity. You're no longer forcing yourself, you become someone who naturally does the work. Someone who shows up. Someone who follows through. Someone who builds. And when that shift happens, everything becomes easier. Section 6, Consistency over Intensity. Many people make mistakes. They go all in for a short period of time. High intensity, high effort. And then they stop. Discipline is not about intensity. It's about consistency. Showing up, every day, even when it's not perfect. Because of imperfect consistency, it always beats short bursts of perfection. Section 7, Controlling Your Environment. Your environment shapes your behavior. The people around you. The distractions around you. The structure around you. Discipline becomes stronger when your environment supports it. So you don't rely only on willpower, you build surroundings that keep you aligned. Section 8, When it gets difficult, there will be days when it feels harder. When your energy is low. When your focus is weak. This is where discipline is tested. Not on your best days, but on your worst ones. Because those moments define your direction. Section 9, The Long Game. Discipline is not about today. It's about the long game, what you build, over months, over years, through consistent action. While others start and stop, you continue. And that difference creates results. Section 10, From Control to Freedom. At first, discipline feels like control. You're managing your time. managing your actions. But over time, something changes. That control turns into freedom. Final build, emotional rise, you gain clarity. You gain direction. You gain confidence because you trust yourself. You know that you will show up. You know that you will follow through. You know that you will keep building. And that trust changes everything. Final closing, strong and memorable, discipline is not a limitation. It's a foundation. A foundation that supports your growth, your progress, your future. Build your habits. Stay consistent and commit to the process. Because the life you want is not built by chance. It's built by what you do every single day. And remember, you're one step away from becoming financially free. Thank you, and we are looking forward to seeing you next time. RAFMOFX, by Home Team Records. This is audiobook number 05, by Home Team Records Mindset Blueprint. Why most people stay stuck, and how to break free. The opening, there's a question that many people avoid asking themselves. Not out of fear, but out of discomfort. Why am I still in the same place, not physically, but mentally, financially, emotionally? Because deep down, most people already feel it. The sense of being stuck. Section 1, what stuck really means. Being stuck doesn't always look obvious. You can be busy, working every day, doing what needs to be done, and still feel like nothing is changing. That's the real trap. Movement, without progress. Effort, without direction. Section 2, the comfort zone illusion. One of the biggest reasons people stay stuck is comfort. Not comfort in success, but comfort in familiarity. The same routine. The same thinking. The same decisions. It feels safe. But what feels safe often keeps you where you are. Section 3, fear of change. Change requires uncertainty. And uncertainty creates fear. Fear of failure. Fear of making the wrong move. Fear of losing what you already have. So instead of moving forward, many people stay where they are. Not because they want to, but because they're afraid to move. Section 4, the thinking pattern. Your life follows your thinking. The same thoughts create the same actions. The same actions create the same results. And without a change in thinking, nothing changes. Section 5, taking responsibility. This is where things begin to shift. Not when circumstances change, but when you take responsibility. Not blame. Not guilt. Responsibility. The moment you say, "It's on me to change this," you take your power back. Section 6, small actions break stagnation. You don't break out of being stuck with one big move. You break it with small actions. Small decisions. Small shifts. But consistent ones. Because action creates momentum. And momentum creates change. Section 7, clarity through action. Many people wait for clarity before they act. But clarity doesn't come first. Slight emphasis, action does. You move, you learn, you adjust. And through that process, clarity appears. Section 8, letting go of perfection. Perfection keeps people stuck. Waiting for the right time, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. But perfect doesn't exist. Progress does. And progress begins the moment you start. Section 9, discipline creates movement. Discipline becomes your way forward. Not waiting, not hesitating, but moving, consistently. Even when it's slow. Even when it's unclear. Even when it's difficult. Because movement breaks stagnation. Section 10, The Long Game Mindset. Breaking free is not instant. It's a process. A gradual shift, from where you are, to where you want to be. And those who succeed are not the fastest. They are the ones who don't stop. Final build, emotional rise. Most people will stay where they are. Not because they can't move, but because they won't. They will wait, they will hesitate, they will doubt. But you don't have to. You can decide, right now, to move forward. Breaking point, decision moment, not perfectly. Not all at once. But step by step. One decision. One action. One direction. That's how everything changes. You are not stuck. You are just in a moment of pause. And moments can change. With action. With discipline. With a decision to move. Break the pattern, change your thinking, and take the first step. Because the way forward has always been there. You just have to choose it. And remember, you're one step away from becoming financially free. Thank you, and we are looking forward to seeing you next time. RAFMOFX, by Home Team Records.